Welcome back to What She Said Sports, everybody. This is Shanola Girl checking in. I hope everybody had a good weekend or still is having a good weekend. All right, so I put together a good show for you. This is the latest buzz. So it's going to be like a roundup of multiple sports that we're talking about. You know, it's the off season for Shedeur Sanders and the Cleveland Browns, as well as Travis. But I do have some cute photos of Travis today that I want to share. But in addition to that, I saw Coach Prime today. Well, it was yesterday, but I saw photos last night. I posted them. And then today, there were more photos coming out. So last night, Coach Prime pulled up to a basketball game with Colorado women's basketball. You know, his daughter used to play for the women's basketball team. They played and faced off against the number 20 ranked Texas Tech Red Raiders. So people showed Coach Prime at the game. And earlier, he was at a track meet, an indoor track meet, where one of his two sport athletes, I think his name is Ernest, he ran in two races, and I know he won his second race. So Coach Prime just been over there supporting the Bucks, supporting the players that play other sports, that also play football. But then he pulled up on women's basketball versus Texas Tech. And somebody caught like a video shot of Coach Prime, Rick George, who used to be the athletic director until this year, and the new guy, the offensive coordinator, Brennan, Marion. So that's it that you see right there on the screen to the right. That's the three of them looking chummy at the game. That's a good display of unity. That's a good display of unity. They must have heard me say, I saw Brennan Marion over there sitting next to Rick George at a basketball game. I'm like, I've never seen an OC anybody else be with the top brass at Colorado other than Coach Prime. So the three of them, the trio, were supporting the women's game. So shout out to the men for coming out to support the women. Let me know if y'all saw the photo. I did post it in the community. I want to give a shout out to Rakia Jackson. I posted it in the community also. She returned to basketball. She had taken a short absence away from rival basketball. And she returned last night. She put up 22 points. She's back. She's back. She's back. And everybody's happy to see her getting on with her life. So shout out to Rakia Jackson. You know, people were worried about her. They wanted to know how she was doing. And I didn't even know she had taken a short absence away, but she did. And you can imagine, right? It was traumatic what she went through. So we just happy to see her getting back to her life. Because, you know, it's very important. And, you know, once you're traumatized, unfortunately, some people get stuck and it's hard for them to heal. But, you know, she has a loving family and good support. So she had people around her. So welcome back, Rakia Jackson. Check out the Breeze Basketball Club on Rival. That's who she plays for if you want to see. All right, so let's talk about Travis. Let me get into Travis. So Travis posted a good photo that I said it's every day is Father's Day for Travis. Look at this. Him and his little one. I still don't know this baby's name. I don't know if it's Travis Hunter Jr. I just call him Air Hunter. Because that's what he is right now. Travis asked his wife for 5 more babies. So he the heir right now. He heir Travis. He heir Hunter until I learn his name. Maybe when he turned 1, they'll tell us. So I guess that's about what, August? So they're out fishing. And y'all know Travis is a fisherman at heart. And he loves the sport. So he said he's training his son early. He said he's training his son early. So shout out to Travis. I don't know, they were on a lake somewhere, and I'm assuming his wife took the photo. But he's so happy. I love to see photos with Travis and his son, because if y'all know Travis, that's what he wanted, right? That's what he wanted. So he's winning at life right here. And it's important to talk about winning at life off the football field, because there's a sad story today, another sad story, young NFL player took his life, and I want to talk about that. So seeing Travis happy makes me happy, and it shows that he realized that life is about more than football. Of course, you know, when he was at Colorado, you know, people talked about he was just all football because he was trying to make it. And, you know, now that he's married, have a family, and has a son, he has something else, you know, to live for. So it seems that, you know, he'll be fine. And he realizes there's more to life than football. And that's a good thing. So I'm going to take this off the screen. Now, this is the young man Rondell Moore. He used to play for the Atlanta Falcons at one point, but I think his last team was the Minnesota Vikings. So I have some video clips for us to look at, to react to listen to, really, but to react to. You know, I don't know when, at what point do people respond with advisement about these players and CTE. This young man, unfortunately, chose a very violent way to end his life, but he was battling with depression. One of the main symptoms, that most identifiable symptoms of CTE, is what? Depression. And they said he lost his battle with depression. I said, or did he lose his battle with CTE? Why is it that people want to just label it mental health and never talk about the CTE part? It's almost like being a smoker and smoking cigarettes and pretending that they can't kill you, even though you know that they have. Many people, and there's a warning label. I don't get it. And in addition to not getting the response from the public talking about don't give up, fellas, keep fighting, don't give up. If he has CTE, what you talking about? Don't give up. They never want to address that he has CTE. They make it seem like he only had one option in life, and because he was injured for 2 seasons in a row, that's likely why he violently ended his life. I don't see it that way. It's no different than the young man that they found hanging from a tree in Mississippi, and they quickly said it was self-inflicted, but he had blunt force trauma to the head, and now it has come out that he likely was lured somewhere with some people that were upset about some comments that was made about somebody else passing. So he was likely abused and hung up there. Today, a 21-year-old young Black man who looked like he graduated as a scholar is just found right here down the road in Atlanta, hanging from a tree. People are upset because these are not accidents. This is how I feel every time one of these very young NFL players succumbs to depression. Just like these young Black men are not hanging themselves from these trees, these young Black men are not just losing their battle with depression. They likely have CTE. It's the same thing. Too quick to brush it off as mental health or self-inflicted. It's the same thing. These are young Black men. The one in college in Mississippi, the one right here in Marietta today, this young man, Rondell, that played for the Falcons, he's 25. And y'all know about the science in a very young person. But just to say he lost his battle with depression, it's not right. You have to ask, did he lose his battle with CTE? And I have a response here from a lady who's a teacher. Listen to what she's saying. This is her right here, Prim Sipples. I think she's an administrator or something. She said it's the CTE. Herself and myself are probably in the comment section the only two to mention CTE, which is ridiculous. All I'm hearing is keep fighting, fellas, don't give up, as if CTE is not out there. And that's exactly what they want you to do. They want you to do this. This is exactly what they want you to do. It's got to be denial. Is it denial? Is it uninformed, or is it denial? Let me know in the comments. Is it that people are uninformed about CTE, or are they in denial about CTE? Don't want to admit the dangers that it presents for disrupting the quality of your life. And they're in denial because they want to keep playing, or they want their son to keep playing because they can buy him a house, or they want their boyfriend to keep playing so they can buy him a bag. What is it? Are they in denial, or are they uninformed? And it's one of those things where they're going to push back on you and say, well, you knew the dangers, because it's not like we don't talk about CTE. She said it's the CTE. A lot of people are starting to take their kids out of football, or starting their kids off at a very young age in football. As a teacher, I saw the effects in the classroom: outbursts, cursing, aggressive behaviors, difficulty grasping concepts. If you love your child, don't let them play that sport. I was on the elevator today, and I had the clip playing in the background, and I was getting ready to turn it off. And I asked this young man, he was on the elevator, and I said, "Man, you follow football?" He said, "Oh, no, I don't." I was like, "Cool, cool, cool," because that's what needs to happen. You got to back up. You can't want something so bad that you're willing to be in denial. And you can only be uninformed for so long, because why? This keeps happening over. And you know what? It's going to keep happening. It's going to keep happening because nobody's doing anything when it actually happens, but say he lost his battle with depression, or did he lose his battle with CTE? Are they going to have his brain tested? That's a real good question. Are they going to have his brain tested? I mean, you kind of have to, right? And if it's not that, good. But you need to know. One, so you can educate yourself and other people. So, we talk about depression and young people, but from what I'm seeing sports-wise, this is only happening in football. Just like all the whining about NIL is in football. All of the racism, all sports likely have racism, but the aggressive, outward, the very vile outward displays of racism that we see pushing out black head coaches in college football and in the NFL. That's not a coincidence. It's happening at the same time across college and the NFL. Pushing out and devaluing black quarterbacks in college, NCAA, and the NFL. Only firing black GMs. This is only football. I don't hear anything like this in basketball. I don't hear anything like this in hockey, in golf, in tennis, in volleyball, soccer. Yes, soccer has its international implications. And if it was so bad on the inside, and these people are taking their lives because they can't talk about it because they're supposed to be quiet, then why is it only affecting football, where CTE is prevalent? And some of these players have CTE before they get to college. But is there any process to check, or you're on your own? It's just like smoking. You know the dangers, but come on in here and do it anyway. Because why? The money. Why is it they think that's the only option? Let's take a listen to some of the clips that we were talking about today, that people were addressing the situation. And I want to get your honest opinion about what you think about what they're saying. One is Route God. If y'all know, he is, I think Route God is like he trains athletes. I guess he was a wide receiver, so I don't know if he's training wide receivers or defensive backs, but I've seen it before. I follow him. So I saw this today, and he was addressing the passing of Rondell Moore.
The things people will say, the ways people will still look at you because you once played this game well and you ain't make it all the way to the top. Then when you make it to the top, it's the magnifying glass. You got to walk this way, do everything right. You got to take care of everybody. You got to feel a certain way. You can't be mad. You can't have feelings. You can't show emotion. You can't show pain. It's tough. Every day, everybody go through something. But we fight the battle real silent, real quiet. The ones that's fighting, keep fighting. I can't tell you what you're going through. I'm not going to measure it, nothing. I just want you to keep fighting. I just know if you end it all, you ain't got no chance to get it back. So I want y'all to keep going, keep fighting. Use the ones lost as an example of why you keep fighting. Remember this feeling that you have when they left you, so you don't inflict these feelings on others that love you if you choose to take that route. Prayers up for Rondell Moore family. Prayers up for everybody who's going through anything. I love all y'all. This platform is an alleyway for me to express and for athletes to get at me and talk to me and holler at me. Y'all know I love y'all. Y'all stay safe. I'll keep God first.
So, what do y'all think about what he's saying? I think the sticking point for me is people feeling like this is the only way they can help out their family. This is the only way they can make it in life. I think that's dangerous. I think that's a dangerous thought process because it means you're banging your head against the wall and you don't stop till you bleed out. Because listen to what he's saying about you can't talk to nobody, you can't do that. Yeah, you can. And honestly, I don't know if it's a good idea to just say he lost his battle with depression and not say, did he lose a battle with CTE? Did we lose another one to CTE? Did we lose another Black young man to CTE? Notice this ain't happening to nobody else. Listen to what he's saying and we'll go through it.
I'm glad that you still at the things people say, the ways people will still look at you because you once played this game well.
So the way people will still look at you because you once played this game or you didn't go as high or as far as you wanted to go. I do not think it's that. We're talking about a self-inflicted pew shot. No, that's violent. Was the depression the beginning? Or was he dealing with something else in addition to depression? I don't think this young man just did it that way. There's so many ways to do that. I just don't. I just don't think it's that. I don't think it's that. Shedeur posted a sad face earlier today. And I didn't, this had already been announced, so I didn't know if it was in addition to this or not. But maybe it was, right? Because it was earlier today. So, you know, because they said he went to Trinity High School, and I was thinking, you know, Shedeur went to Trinity High School, but turns out this guy went to Trinity High School in Louisville, which I'm thinking is Kentucky or something like that. And then he was in Indiana at the time. And people are speculating that this happened because he was injured in 24 and missed the whole season. He was injured in 25 and missed the whole season. And I don't know. I think you have to look into CTE. I think you owe it to him to look and have his brain tested. And if that's not what it is, then that's not what it is. But to speculate and to minimize it and just say he lost his battle with depression, no. And just to put it on mental health, no. Why are you putting it on mental health? Why are you leaving it at he lost his battle with depression? Telling people don't stop, keep fighting, and never discussing CTE. That's got to be intentional. What do y'all think about that?
And you ain't make it all the way to the top. Then when you make it to the top, it's the magnifying glass. You got to walk this way, do everything right. You got to take care of everybody. You got to feel a certain way.
Why you got to take care of everybody? Why you got to feel a certain way? Why you have to live your life under a magnifying glass? See, this is what I mean. Why are you putting yourself under such intense pressure? Dealing with depression, constantly getting injured, but you don't stop to think, well, maybe I need to have a cognitive test done to see if the depression is because I play football. Every NFL player that goes to the doctor complaining of any ache and pain needs to see a neurologist. A neurologist, according to Tua, taught him how to help prevent concussions, how to help prevent the brain injuries. And a lot of it has something to do with diet. And diet has a lot to do with depression. So it's like it's all relative. But I think it's weird that only one person in myself, a principal who teaches children, brought up CTE. That don't make sense to me. So let's get back through this and see. I just want y'all to just kind of take in what's being said. And I wonder why Route God himself would not bring up CTE. Would that hurt his business? I mean, it's a real question.
You can't be mad. You can't have feelings. You can't show emotion. You can't show pain. It's tough.
You can't be mad. You can't have feelings. You got to be tough. You can't show pain. So you can't be human. You can't be human. And are they thinking that this not being able to be human leads to depression? And if you say yes, then at what point do you find something else to do? At what point do you prioritize your mental health? To say, I can't quit this job because I got to put my family on, that's false. That's false. To say, I put my family on and I got to keep putting my family on, even though this is not good for me. Does your family really want you to sacrifice your mental health? Does your family really want you to be battling with depression so they could have their nice house paid for? No, I'm pretty sure they would rather have him here. But the fact that the people who are coming out speaking about this or talking about his battle with depression, I don't hear CTE. The fact that you don't mention it, know he's in the NFL, is strange. Or you work with NFL players, it's strange. So it's like you're willfully not discussing the potential of CTE or the possibility and that he should be tested or his brain should now be tested, and how these players need to try to protect themselves from CTE. If Tua can still play because he went to a neurologist who taught him how to protect himself, that should be a widespread conversation. That shouldn't just be for Tua. You have to prioritize yourself.
Every day, everybody go through something, but we fight the battle real silent, real quiet. The ones that's fighting, keep fighting.
That's not a hero. Fighting the battle. What battle? Depression? That's nothing to play with. That's not a headache. That's not, I'm feeling bad today and I'm good next week. No, I don't agree with that. I mean, I know he's well-intentioned, but I don't agree with we fight the battle silently. You know, for the ones that fight, keep fighting. How about for the ones that's feeling like maybe depressed, go see a doctor, go to see a neurologist to look and get tested for cognitive functioning to see if you're in danger or if you already have enough brain injury for CTE. You don't have to wait till you're dead. That's actually false. Yes, they can test your brain once you die, but while you're alive, you can have tests for cognitive functioning to see if you're starting to lose your cognitive functioning, which is obviously going to change your mental capacity. And it's a lie. And you got to look into it yourself, and you can't trust people that want to make money off of you to tell you what to do. There's a whole NFL player out here who died because the medical staff was giving him 20 Advil a day. Remember, these are the same people that you work for that think you're dumb because you're Black, that rotate you in and out every 3 years so they can get a fresh set, that sometimes say people are injured when they're not, or sometimes put people in a position so they can be injured so they can become unavailable, like with 2 ACL tears, injuries. So an insurance company could pay their salary. I know he's well-intentioned, but to not mention CTE, you're not doing these guys no favors. You're not doing any of these guys any favors. When instead, some nutritionists need to pop up on here, or some neurologists need to pop up on here and start talking about how these guys who play in the league for a very short period of time, by the way, the average is 3 years, can protect themselves. At least try to protect themselves until they get out. It's that important that you come for the money. You have to be smart to protect yourself. You can't trust the people that's making a buck off of you who think you're dumber than white people, lower cognitive functioning, race norming, to look out for you. Y'all not a family. That's a job. And just like any other job out here, you have to protect yourself at work to make sure you don't get injured.
Can't tell you what you're going through. I'm not going to measure it, nothing. I just want you to keep fighting. I just know if you end it all, you ain't got no chance to get it back. So I want y'all to keep going, keep fighting. Use the ones lost as an example of why you keep fighting. Remember this feeling that you have when they left you, so you don't inflict these feelings on others that love you if you choose to take that route. Prayers up for Rondell Moore family. Prayers up for everybody who's going through anything. I love all y'all. This platform is an alleyway for me to express and for athletes to get at me and talk to me and holler at me. Y'all know I love y'all. Y'all stay safe. I'll keep God first. Love.
One thing about it, if these athletes are starting to deal with CTE, no amount of talking is going to help if you're not going to steer them to the nearest neurologist to have their cognitive functioning tested, to see how in the workplace where they are that they can protect themselves. He's well intentioned. I think he said the best he could say, so I'm not knocking him. But what I'm noticing is what's absent from these conversations with people closest to these athletes, these professional players, these college players, is CTE. They don't talk about CTE as if it's rare. It's actually more commonplace than you realize. And some of them leave college with it, and it just exacerbates. I think sometimes when these players get injured a lot, it's kind of saving them because, you don't even know where you are on the brain injuries list because you haven't even gone to a doctor to even go, hey, I'm an NFL player. I just want to understand how to prevent concussions. This is what I do for a living, And if I start, what kind of symptoms am I looking for? I mean, you can Google it, but I mean, there's nothing wrong with going to the doctor to have that tested. But maybe, just like these people aren't talking about it, maybe they don't want to know. Maybe they won't want to know. Just like smoking cigarettes, you just ignore the warning. You know what it can do to you, but you're still gonna do it anyway. That's what it's giving. So rest in peace, this family. I really feel sad that these players feel like this is their only option. They don't take their brain health seriously. They seemingly either or in denial or uninformed, and neither one is good when it's well known. And it's not rare. CTE is not rare. And I just wish when they get to a place like this young man who had multiple injuries, that they would see it as a sign that maybe I need to take a step back. Maybe I need to go in a different direction and come into it. If you're going to come into it, I don't even know if you still should be coming into it. Come into it knowing that you can't do this for long. You have to protect yourself. And if things happen, you have other options. And for the ones coming out of college, you have other options even before you get here. Let me know what y'all think about that. All right. So shout out to the principal who shared her thoughts on social media. I totally agree with her. It's the CTE. A lot of people are starting their kids off in football at a very young age. And she says, as a teacher, I saw the effects. And people need to, if you're going to be with these football players, if you're going to be their mothers, their fathers, you got to educate yourself about CTE. So when you start seeing the symptoms, hey, I think you need to get checked out. I think you need to step away before it gets to this point, because understand this, of all the ways to upend your life, that's a very violent one. That's not normal. That's not normal. So if you love these guys that play the sport, you got to educate yourself and them. And you got to make sure they get looked after. All right. So rest in peace to Rondell Moore. And I pray his family finds peace and healing. All right. So we're going to get to NASCAR. But before we do, I wanted to share this video that I thought was good. We love football, right? However, we talk about different ways that people are starting to play the sport. We talked about how the NFL itself, every team is putting together and or has a men's flag football team and a women's flag football team. And with CTE, that likely seems to be the way that the sport will be going at some point. I've said maybe 15 years from now, if they can make the same kind of money they can with flag football, that they actually might just go that way 100%. Some people say they can't see it. With all of these CTE deaths starting to happen more and more, I can see it. Eventually, people will catch on. I hate that we have to keep losing people and denying the fact or not being informed enough, but there will be more casualties if people don't start talking about CTE when these guys die, rather than he lost his battle with depression, did he potentially lose his battle with CTE? And admit that it's real. And don't look the other way because you can benefit. Because as you can see, in the end, you can lose permanently. So I found it's Battle Sports, BATTLE Sports. They have 7-on-7. Now, I was trying to see how far up they went in age, because y'all know they flag football in colleges now. They have D1 schools, I think, D2 schools with flag football teams. So I saw this cute little clip and I wanted to share today. It's actually on the women's side of things. And so I guess Battle Sports must apparently have women's flag 7-on-7. So this young lady, she obviously made a hell of a play, and they shared it on their page. But they have, if y'all have people and y'all love the sport of football, like I grew up in the sport of football, but you have nieces, nephews, kids, grandkids, check out 7-on-7 flag. Check out, they have 5-on-5 O-lineman competitions now, sport playing. Just look into Battle Sports and go from there. They got their own shoes. They got their own merch. They got all of these leagues. They in different cities. They're in Miami and Houston. I think in Vegas, and they popping up somewhere else. If you have young ones, please just start here. Just start here with flag, or whether it's flag 11-on-11 or flag 7-on-7. And for those that want to play in high school, it goes up to 15. And then some of the leagues go up to the 12th grade. So there are alternatives. That's my point for sharing this. There are alternatives, and it includes girls. So men and women can play. Young boys, young girls can play. Check this out, okay? Battle Sports. I saw them on IG. Go check them out. So as you can see, these kids are having a good time. And yeah, I can kind of see that this is where the sport is going at some point. People don't believe it, but if you notice, every year, a CTE death is popping up. Now, that's just the ones that we know about. See, you don't know about everything. You don't know about everything that's happening. So let me know what y'all think about that. All right. So NASCAR. All right. So Rajah Caruth won his race. They said this is his first time winning a stage 2 race. He was right here in Atlanta at Atlanta Motorsports Motor Speedway. Now it's called Echo Park Speedway, but they still call it Atlanta Motor Speedway. I was this close to going, but I didn't know he was racing. I was like, I'll just catch it next time. I looked up the tickets. They were $60. I was like, yeah, okay, maybe next time. Then I was battling between, do I want to go to a basketball game, or do I want to go skating, or do I want to go to the track? And I was like, the track is 25 minutes that way. Basketball is 2 minutes this way. And then the skating rink is not too far away. I was like, so I went skating. I went to the skating rink. And when I heard he raced and he won, I was sick. I was like, man. So let me see what I can show y'all from it. Let's see. This is it. Oh, that's Coach Prime now. Let's see. Hold on 1 second. All right. Man, this was fun to watch. So, his girlfriend is Marsai Martin. Remember the young lady, Diane, the character, Diane from Blackish? That's his girlfriend. So she was on the track and got some footage. See, that's him up there. He was in first place. That's him in first place. And then right here, this is him right here in the front. But y'all, the way he got to the front was insane. He was blocked in near the wall, probably about third or fourth back. And it was, I guess the cars in front of him were vying for it, and dude saw an opening. And when I tell y'all he got it. So he won his race, and here it is right here. So you're going to see it. Watch this right here. This is so exciting. So as you can see, you got these 2 cars. Look at this. This him right here. Did you see him come out of there? Oh my God. People were going crazy because he was over here to the right by the wall, and he somehow, as fast as they going, and he saw an opening, y'all. Look right here. Wait, that's him in the front. Now watch this. He over here. That's him right there. That's him. Now watch him come out, and somehow he found the opening. Look at this, bruh. Everybody was like, whoa, and he just took off. And I don't know how fast they're going, but to keep a level head, to keep the car straight, and to be strategizing, and to see a quick opening at their high rate of speed, and to take it and to win, baby. Congratulations to Rajah Caruth. He is an HBCU grad, went to Winston-Salem State University, and I think his dad and his mom, his mom went to Georgetown, dad went to Howard or something like that. So I've been following him for a minute. So shout out to Rajah Caruth, who tore that track down. So if y'all ever get a chance to go to a NASCAR Cup Series, look for Rajah Caruth. He drives, I think, a Hendrick car. And I'm still learning. Remember last year when I started talking about NASCAR? Look how far I made it. Look how far I made it. I finally put it on the screen. So I just wanted to give a congratulations to Raj. That was so exciting to watch that, right? So we have options, folks. We have options. Let me hop over here to the comments, which y'all talking about. Hey, Remind, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? They said, please like and subscribe. Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hey, Tina. Hey, fam, I see y'all in here. I see y'all in here. How you doing? How you doing? Hey, Priscilla, welcome back. Welcome back. Please like the stream. Yes, thank you. Hit the like button. Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank y'all for holding it down. I appreciate it. What's that? Tina? It said, I agree with you about the teacher. Yep, stop allowing your sons. Yeah. So sharing that to play football, to sharing that battle sports, sharing that game, the young lady, men and women can play. It's just a safer alternative. And honestly, like I told you, I talk to people about starting the league or whatever. And one of the things I share with them, because I did research, football don't have to be violent like it is. The practices don't even have to be violent like that, right? This is what people fail to understand about the current professional NFL. What they fail to understand is that racism is in every aspect of it. If I don't value you to be coaches, if I don't value you to be GMs, if I don't value to be quarterbacks, all I value you to be is what? Labor. So am I going to take care of you? No. Obviously, I don't value his labor because I go get new ones every 3 years. So if they don't value you, why would you put your health in their hands? Why would you go along with the violent practices? Why? It don't have to be that way. The only time you need to go full steam is when you're on that goddamn field. And we've heard Coach Prime say they practice the way they play, but they shouldn't. Because of CTE, they should not. That's not necessary. That's not necessary. And just like anything else that has a long track record, right? Things change. When you didn't know about CTE, that's one thing. But now that you know it's out there, you can't ignore it. And ignorance, meaning you're uninformed, is not enough, because you have somebody, or you watch the sport, or you dated somebody, or this is your child. You owe it to yourself to inform yourself, because look at the alternative when these symptoms of CTE start setting in. And if you don't have the brain tested, you don't want to know. Because if you find out that's what it was, then you're going to probably experience some other type of pain emotionally that you didn't know, or you didn't get him checked, or he didn't want to get checked. And that maybe none of this was ever worth it. That's why I think people don't talk about it. See, people want to say it's the money. So you prioritizing money over your health. What happens out here in the streets when people prioritize money over their future? They lose their future, don't they? How is this any different? We got to stop kidding ourselves. We've got to stop kidding ourselves. If you say, well, that didn't happen to me, cool. But what about to the people you know? Or what about when you hear about it? And how is it every time we turn around, the person is Black? You can't ignore that either. Do they know something you don't know? Do they have some remedy that you don't have? Because your brain ain't no different than theirs. These are all questions that people need to ask. Just like they're talking about, why is it these young Black men are being hung? Why is it these young Black men in the NFL are dying at such a very young age after dealing with depression and other symptoms that suggest that they might have CTE? And why is this only happening to young Black men? Why we don't hear about a young white man at the age of 25 in this situation who's in the NFL? Real question. Questions that need answers. We can't just sit up here and be blind. And when you have an alternative on your path, flag football 7-on-7, and you keep thinking this is my only option, you're going to learn the hard way. And unfortunately, that's the cycle that we're in. So when people say another one, get ready to say another one. I think Kyron Lacey, I was hoping he had been tested. And it was just shrugged off as mental health. Seriously. It's all about the money. Well, you know what happens in the streets when it's all about the money? You lose your future. Well, this is no different. It said they need to see a neurologist quarterly. That's what I said. I mean, yeah, right? And how is that not a thing? Matter of fact, they love to make ads and commercials for things. That need to be one of them. In other words, it needs to be so prevalent that you're willing to advertise it. But the fact that they're not willing to talk about it tells you what? Oh, well, I mean, if they crazy enough to get out here and do it, I mean, it ain't on us to tell them because it ain't happening to their people. And you know how that go. You can't say you love these guys or in love with these guys, and these be your sons or your husbands or your boyfriends and your baby daddies or whatever the hell they are, your next door neighbors, and you don't talk to them about it. I agree. Who said this? Quarterly. Absolutely. What is the point of the money if you can't spend it? What's the point of that? And when you come into the league, not only do you need to see a neurologist quarterly, you need to have a will. You need to have estate planning done before you play your first game. And you need to insure some of your legs, just like celebrities do. Why wouldn't you do that? You should be doing that. Hopefully that's done already and we don't know. Because this young man lost 2 seasons in a row, right? I happen to think that might have been a sign that he should walk the other way. But I wasn't there. I don't know. But that's what I would have took it as. That's why we're happy. I'm happy Travis got baptized. Because when things happen, he won't think it's the end of the world. And he'll probably look at it from God's perspective. Same thing with Shedeur. Hopefully the same thing with Shiloh. It's hard for a lot of us, anybody that works hard to get anywhere we're trying to get, whether it's a creative person and they don't go to college, but they've been working on their music since they was 5, a football player that's been playing since middle school and they don't make it to the league. Hell, somebody that did go to college, that went all the way and got their PhD, but then maybe they got cancer afterwards. It's hard for a lot of people and not everybody responds in that way. Therefore, I do not believe that it was just that. I believe you have to look into CTE. There are people that work on things for a number of years that make more money than some of these players who lose their lives to potentially CTE. And that's what I'm going to say until you verify that it's not that. Because you can't just keep pushing it off on mental health, pushing it off on depression when you know that they have depression. That's the first sign. You can't say just because his injuries, he clearly didn't give up trying to get back. So, you know, and he didn't just get depressed and then all of a sudden that happened. Depression is over a time. And if you could say he lost his battle with depression, then you have to say and ask, did he lose a battle with CTE? And he should be tested. They should be tested while they're alive. I agree. Quarterly. It's crazy to me how Tua took it up on himself. Tua took it up on himself to see a neurologist and come up with a plan. The league was just going to kick him out and have him medically retired. What does that tell you right there? That's why he's still in the league. Because they was pushing him out. But did they push him to a neurologist? I truly believe they are bullying these players after what I saw with the Browns. Oh, I totally agree with that. It's that's why he's saying you can't talk to anyone because they will blackmail you. And here's the thing, right? I totally agree with you. And that's where I come in with, this not your only option in life. What happens to us in corporate America or whatever, in any academia? It could be academia. You're trying to get your degree and they bullying you and you feel like you can't talk to nobody because you're not going to get your degree. Or you in corporate America and they bullying you and you scared to go to HR because the last person that did got fired. So you don't want to say nothing. It happens to everybody, especially when you Black. I mean, look at the young men that they decided to hang like strange fruit. So the question is, why is it they act like football players and the people that know them, that's their only option, that they got to put up with that bullying? You do not. And at some point, if it don't change, then what do you need to do? Do you give in and just do what they want you to do? Like they want Shedeur to be a backup and say he should be comfortable with the security of that. They know Shedeur don't need that security. But aren't they treating him like that's what they want him to be? Are they going to stop? So what needs to happen? How much longer is he going to be able to endure what's happening? Because if they not going, if God don't open that door for him to get to the front, because it could be worse off. You could be the double ACL tears next. See, that's what people keep ignoring. People think I'm gonna wait around because God opened the door, and that's fine. That don't mean he gonna let you get to the front, because Michael Penix Jr. got to the front, double ACL, and they targeted him because he'd already had an ACL. And they benefit from it because it pays his salary. So you out the way and somebody else paying. You have to be honest about what this league is. I, for the life of me, was wondering today, why on earth is it that there are white people who hate Black football players? Why do they even bother to associate with the NFL or invest in it or want to own a team or work there? They have options too, other than to be racist, but they don't. So something has to give. And is it going to be your mental that sacrifice, your physical that sacrifice? Because you ain't going to get to enjoy that money. How much kicking on and bullying and abusing are you going to take before you realize these people ain't going to never be no different? And if you pray to God, and you ask him for help, the help might be the door open. Are you willing to walk through it? They over there talking about bringing in Drew Aller from Penn State, who was hurt last year, getting him in the later round, getting a late round quarterback to put in front of Shedeur. That's the kind of bullying that takes place. They know Shedeur and other people are hearing this publicly. That's a message for the people that's listening. Oh, we don't value him. And that's the message for him. We don't value you. You know, one of the alternatives to come into a league that doesn't value you or staying in one that doesn't value you is the one option that they never discussed. And what is that, ladies and gentlemen? Start your own. That's actually what I said on the Rock God's page. I said, you know, one of the options, because you say that they can't, he was essentially saying, you have to walk like this, talk like this, you have to sit up straight, so I said, oh, you can't be human. So how about this? How about start a league that actually values you, and you can be human, and you can be in charge of people being treated like they're human? This is not your only option. It's not your only option. So when I saw Shedeur make the smiley, the sad face, I really didn't know if it was about this or was it about, I doubt if it was about the Drew Aller thing, because he doesn't usually express any type of emotion when they start talking about, you know, he should be a backup or somebody else is going to play. Normally he doesn't kind of let on like that. So I didn't think it was that, but it was like much earlier today. And I thought it was this. I thought it was this situation because it was sad, because this young man, you know, was suffering from depression. Now, here's what I hope. I hope like hell it wasn't a cry for help. That's what I hope. Because what the coach trying to say, that it was very, very tough. Okay, so how many very, very tough years are we going to give these people? Now, it's true. God can make you rise above this and be in chaos and you don't know it. And hopefully that's what happened. But I hope it ain't a situation where the door opened and he don't want to go. And I hope this wasn't, I can understand he's dealing with depression or something. I'm just saying, I don't know what this was about, but it was today and it was earlier today. I saw it. So when they said the guy went to Trinity High School, I was like, well, maybe did he go to high school with Shedeur? But they said it was in Louisville. So no, but I don't know. Maybe he knew the guy. Then again, maybe he just saw the situation and like everybody else, it kind of hit him in the heart and like, man, another one. You know, I don't know. But this is a person. I think sometimes that's why I be so plugged in, because you look at them. It's kind of like a child, and you letting them out the car to go to school, like at drop off, and you watching them to get to the class. You know, you make all the way to the door. You're looking to make sure nothing happens and that they're safe and all is well. I really think that that's what it is for me at this point, because I personally don't think that he need to be that. I don't think none of them need to be there. I think at this point, you know what it is. I think at this point, we all know what it is. So that's kind of like what it is at this moment, you know. It's like, I want you to be happy. I want you to be safe. I don't know. Dropping your kids off at school where you know they're being bullied and pulling off. I don't know. I don't know how you do that. I mean, you can, look at it in the godly sense and say, well, God got him. Yeah, that's true. And I gotta keep reminding myself, I know you don't open the door that God ain't open yet. I get that. But I also get God can make you to wait well, and you're not suffering, and you don't have depression, and you're not sad, and you're not hiding from people. You can wait well above the fray. As long as I see that, I'm good. As long as I see that, I'm like, okay, I'm just watching, make sure. Because I personally also believe that us talking, all of these fans, 20 million fans talking about this situation, I truly believe it matters. I think it made a difference. I think it makes a difference when fans do talk about these things. I think it shows that that's what needs to happen. I think that that's why they put a petition together. They could have put a petition together before we showed up and started talking about this situation, but we talked about it and they talked about it, and they were like, let's put together a petition and we're going to be right there next year. And it's in a different capacity. It's dropping him off and make sure he get there okay, and they don't get him injured like they did Michael Penix Jr. Or they get him sacked like they did Cam Ward, because we know that they are in the process of devaluing Black quarterbacks, and it's not just Shedeur. And we know what he went through was tough. And we know what he went through in Cleveland was tough, and what they did to him in the draft was tough. And why does it always have to involve humiliation? Why was it necessary to try to humiliate Shedeur in Cleveland, humiliate him in the draft? That's a real question. What's the humiliation about? That's how you know it's racism. If you just don't like him and you don't think he's good, do you need to bully him? Do you need to humiliate him? Do you need to embarrass him? No. That's the racist aspect of it. Because they don't like Black people. And when you choose to go to work for people who don't like Black people, you likely will end up depressed, whether it's CTE or not. And you have to decide for yourself at some point. Or you just gonna let this happen? Because at some point, They always say God opens a window before he closes the door. Make sure you don't miss the window. So when Shedeur posted it, I thought it was in response to this young man. And I really hate it for this young man's family. We don't know, we never really know. After the cat, we don't know if they were going through something before this just started. We know, and I hate that. I hate that we don't really know. We can't help. We can't really do anything. But we do know that talking brings awareness, because it did to Shedeur's situation, not the draft, but in Cleveland. And other fans need to do this too. I talk about Lamar, talking and posted about Bryce Underwood, because they targeted him too. The point is, if you Black, they targeting you. And you need to not be in denial about it, and not lie to yourself, and not be sad because you're not going to be able to. It's going to be harder for you to get to your dreams. Understand something. That was your dream based on a league that you thought appreciated talent. That's not where we are currently. We're not there right now. Can you ride this out till they get back to that place? I don't know. Are they ever going to get back there? Probably not. Because from what I see, they willing to blow it all up. They willing to blow it all up rather than concede that your talent proves that they race norming was bullshit. Rather than concede that Black people have become the majority of the quarterbacks, which is something that they obviously don't want that to happen. Rather than concede that Black head coaches can be successful Black head coaches. Rather than concede that young Black quarterbacks can come in as rookies and go all the way. Jada Dames, CJ Stroud. Yeah. Rather than concede that 4 Black men were this close to the AFC, NFC championships with 2 going to the Super Bowl until they cheated Lamar. That's how much they're willing to blow it all up rather than just let talent do what it does. Rather than lead with talent. They're not doing that right now. And you crazy if you think that. And the fact that it's not just quarterbacks no more. Look at Isaiah Likely. Let's see where he ended up. Let's see where Tyreek Hill ends up. Let's see where make sure Denzel Ward stay where he is. His name should have never been in that conversation, but I can guarantee you I know why. Because he gonna hear it. And that means you're gonna straighten up and walk the straight and narrow. And you ain't gonna complain. And whoever we put as quarterback, you gonna shut up. That's why. It's called intimidation. Yep. And this is what you choose to put up with. Because you could just go start your own league and be happy. At some point, it's a choice. If you sign another contract, it's definitely a choice. They say these guys came into the league and they didn't know it was like this. Is that still the case? No, everybody know what it is now. Football is not the only option. It said exactly, let the NFL grab them to get CTE. Right? Anybody. I'm like, because it ain't happening to they people. I'm just saying. CTE is not a black person's disease. In fact, there actually is a conversation where they were saying it is a black person's disease and black NFL players are getting CTE, something about heart disease. I was like, time the F out. I think I talked about this. You can Google that. I put CTE on black people. I'm like, the fact that white people don't get it and you lying about black people talking about their DNA. Oh, because you wouldn't draft no more black people, would you? Right? That's what they willing to say rather than change their processes. You ain't got to beat nobody up in practice to practice. You ain't never got to do that. Do they do that in high school? No. Do they do that in Pee Wee? No, they don't do that nowhere else. That's not necessary. That's how they go through every 3 years. That's their justification. It said parents should stop allowing it. I think so. It said the best approach to generational wealth, try education. Right. And understand this. What do they actually end up with? The majority of them. We ain't talking about the one-offs. And now we got black coaches, they don't want to give them their buyouts and they trying to push them out. Black quarterbacks, they trying to take back the NIL that they already gave them and benching them because they threw a damn interception in practice. Then over here in the pro league that you're trying to get to, you're going to be devalued because of what they did to you in college. Ask Jalen Milroe. You have to resign yourself that you might be better off as a backup, sitting on the bench, because it seems like they're going to try to kill you if you become a goddamn starter. 55 sacks for Cam. It's like we begrudgingly had to draft you and give you the most money. So we're going to make your life hell. That's what it is. And they're lying to themselves if they say that that's not what it is. I still sitting here going, how bad is this shit going to have to get before I hear a conversation? Yeah, we should start our own league, please. If you love the game that much. But do you love yourself at this point? What do you love more? Because it can't be playing for people that's getting you injured so they can get paid and you moved out the way. That's one. It can't be for people who are willing to let you get sacked 55 times rather than let you be the number 1 pick overall and do well. The fact that many of the black NFL legends' sons were all cut this year told you what it was going to be. Brendan Rice came to try out for the Browns. What happened with that? It ain't like they didn't need a receiver. They still ain't talking about wide receivers. They still on that quarterback thing. And I said, are they doing this to try to irritate Shedeur? Because as fans, I just don't listen to them. You are putting that out there in the atmosphere for a reason. Just like they attacking Bryce Underwood about his NIL for a reason. It ain't in vain. And here's the thing. If they all left and did something else, they wouldn't even be happy with it. That's like if all black people left this country and went somewhere else, they would not be happy. It's about control. And are you willing to let people control you like that? Control you, humiliate you, demonize you, and bully you? All to end up with what? A shell of yourself? It's the real questions. It's the real questions. Yeah, I don't ever hear. I mean, honestly, you have to ask. You have to now start asking. Is it something that's happening? Think about it. I just told you I read about a story about the neurologist. How many black players have been sat down and talked to as a whole, and they tell them they need to go to neurologists and the teacher. Has that happened? You think? Do they should have a neurologist, right? That you got doctors that do all other kind of stuff. You have sports medicine doctors on deck at all these teams, like the one that punctured Tyrod Taylor in the goddamn lung. Do you know how serious it is to puncture somebody in the lung so they can't go do their job? All just to move him out the way from QB1. Like I said, I think they'll try to kill you if it gets to that point where they can't get rid of you. I really think so. I mean, a double ACL, puncturing this one in the lung, ripping Shedeur a nail off. What? That has nothing to do with football. So I don't know. Ending it could be the plan. It said insurance normally doesn't pay out. What you mean, Shy? What you say ending it could be the plan? Let me know. It said NFL continues to hide it. It said they can only look at the brain at. That's a lie. You can do cognitive tests, like Shy said, every quarterly, 4 times a year. It said the NFL is psychologically abusing these players. I think so. I totally agree. Shedeur was definitely abused. I'll hold my tongue about Stefanski abusing Shedeur or dehumanizing Shedeur, because that's exactly what he did. That's what he was allowed to do. Was he paid to do it? Was he encouraged to do it? Because Richie Incognito was encouraged to do it to Jonathan Martin, and Martin quit. So it's not new. It's almost like the league is like, we don't want y'all here, and y'all keep coming, but you keep drafting them. So you drafting them to abuse them. Draft to destroy. At what point does it get bad enough that either the ones coming out or the two that just got there say, hey, you know what? In the offseason, let's put together our own team. Why not? Let's put teams together. Let's start something new for the people coming behind us, because they don't know what it's really like. And how many times have I said, Coach Prime need to bring these players up there so they can learn what it's really like? I mean, what you got to lose? They ain't invite none of the buff players to what is it? Are they gonna do pro day out there to the combine anyway? When Coach Prime said, I want y'all to make money, and he taught them the draft, I like that. But I want him to teach them that there are alternatives to football. I want him to teach them about the nutrition part of the concussions. I want him to teach them that this is just an option. And it's not a very safe option right now because of the climate. And that these are, for instance, okay, when you're coming out of college, and I know when I got my master's, right? And doing field practicums and getting jobs and stuff like that. One of the things they do is they teach you about all the options that you have for all the pillars of whatever it is that you're studying. So in other words, you play football, right? So you got journalism, you got analytics, you have the financial side, you have the executive side of the team itself, you have the marketing of the business, you have the vendors. It's so many different avenues these players should be taught about football. You could become a real estate agent, and everybody in your class that make it can be one of your clients. They should be taught the business of football, and playing is only one aspect of the business. And don't wait around for this league to hire you. Matter of fact, go over to the HBCUs and apply over there to be their coaches. Because otherwise you are hitting your head up against the concrete wall. And they don't care, because an insurance company is just going to pay for it. And you just going to be out the way. They need to learn the business of football in college. Playing is only one aspect of it, and it ain't for everybody. And for the people who thought it was for them, when they find out it's not, you need to have a contingency plan. And let's be real, 3 years is the average. 3. And what's the trade-off? That's real. What's the trade-off? It said these players need a true and honest advocate, someone who speaks on their behalf when dealing with the NFL, CTE, and their other crippling injuries. Facts. And you know where I think they need to come from? Their damn agents, too. Their agents ought to have something in-house like that. Their agents ought to have something in-house. Well, when they talking to their clients and they finding out they're dealing with depression, they ought to have something in-house to say, hey, I'm going to put you in touch with this neurologist and let them know how it helped this person and it helped that person and why you're doing it. Because listen, we don't just represent you. We want, when you're finished with your career, you can enjoy your life and that you're not dealing with symptoms of CTE. Because if you Google it, it does say, they start to say it's prevalent in Black people. That's what they starting to say. I was pissed about that. I was pissed about that because it was happening in the positions that Black people play, not the tight ends. Let's see what tight ends they got over there in Cleveland. It's the athletes, please keep your options close. Yeah, and your education closer. That's what you need to be getting. You need to get your education and learn the business of football. And matter of fact, one of the pillars of the business of football is entrepreneurship. Start your own leagues. It's okay. Look at all these 7-on-7 leagues popping up that are successful now. They making money because this is the streaming era. It's too easy. Now the NFL is actually outdated. This is why they ran off and got a male and female flag football team for each team because they know what they're doing. It's Neanderthal-like. And 5 years from now, what did I say? 7 years from now, people going to be like, you still in the NFL? I think at this point, if you come into this draft, you know exactly what it is. So you making a choice here. They're not even trying to hide it. Grand Rising, how you doing? How you doing? Hey, Crowley. Oh, you're getting your second snowstorm of the year. Well, that must be why it was so cold and windy in Atlanta. Cause I went out. I was like, geez, I thought it was warm yesterday. I did. It said CP was trying to hook Marseille up with one of the Sanders. Oh, that's hilarious. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't know that. But yeah, she dates Rajah Caruth. I know they've been together at least a year. I had no idea. It said, I'm late, but I'm here now. Welcome back, Mel. It said a lot of these players take their anger out on the field. It said that's why so many cases on domestic violence in the off season. No, coach, it's not just that. It's not just that. That's true. However, you do have to consider CTE. You do have to consider CTE. You can't just say, because aggression is a part of it, right? Misplaced aggression is a part of it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to find that article. Because I do think people need to start asking, why are all these players Black? Now listen to this. It said Black NFL players face higher risk of chronic traumatic encephalopathy, CTE, and health-related issues due to a combination of more intense, long-term to head impacts, as research from Harvard Medical School and ESPN suggests. A greater prevalence of health-related socioeconomic inequities. So they blame it on Black people. Data shows Black veterans report more severe chronic pain, higher rates of dementia, and less access to care compared to white peers. Now, let me ask you this. If we talking about in the NFL, don't they all have money? You see what I'm saying? Let me share this with y'all. This is what I mean by you gotta see, if this was my job, and I read this, I'd be pissed off. Because for one, you saying it's a B problem. That's what you're saying. Because we not talking. So you saying I have a longer, why is it black players have more long-term exposure? Why? They all play football when they're little, right? Right? So why is that the case? Can anybody make that part make sense? So see, now they putting it on you. It's your socioeconomic status. Well, they all billionaires, right? Less access to healthcare. Why? They all got the same team doctors, right? Why is it I know about Tua and the neurologist and nobody else? Do the players secretly that are white have some type of situation where they talk about it, or they don't get hit as much? I mean, we did see Joel Batonio and Jack Conklin dirt diving rather than tackling, so that might help, right? But then we see them trying to set Shedeur up to be hurt, so they don't give a damn about his health. You see, this is what I meant by they put it on the players now. They're trying to find a way to say that it's the black players. And then what do you think they're going to use to do with that? So if the black players gets TTE and it's not the whole league, that's my justification to do what? And sometimes you got to give people what they want. Sometimes you have to give people what it is that they want. And there are going to be people that know about this and they're not going to talk about it. They're not going to talk about this. Black players are more likely to occupy high impact positions and experience more intense, consistent, and long-term hits through their careers. So it's the positions that they play. And if I know that, then they know that, right? Not the players, but the league itself, right? Right? Social economic disparities. Survey data indicates that Black former players often face greater financial burdens. Now, mind you, some of these players come into the league with CTE because of football. So they're talking about after the fact. Again, this conversation should be about the here and now, about the young players, because who are we hearing dying from CTE? People in their 20s, before they even hit 30. So this is addressing after the fact. There should be no socioeconomic difference in the here and now when they're coming out of college and they're 25. Why isn't that being addressed? Health disparities. Black players report higher rates of cardiovascular disease and other underlying health conditions, which may, keyword is may, interact with and compound the neurological impacts of repetitive head injuries. So should you be out here with repetitive head injuries? And why is it Black people in their heart? See that I don't like that part. This is what I was telling y'all about. The health disparity. So he's putting it on Black people. But you still have a process where they have to go out here and bang their head up on somebody. You haven't changed that yet. Or you don't feel the need because it don't affect white people, it affects Black people. This is what I'm talking about. Reduced access to care. Studies show that Black players are less likely to receive timely mental health services or specialized care for pain and cognitive decline compared to white counterparts, exacerbating the long-term effects. So what did I say? Shai said they need to get what? Tested quarterly. You see, that's an option. You see, it helps. Why isn't that something that's well known? Why is it only 2 people in the comment section mention CTE? They know what it is. But the people, the players, their families, their girlfriends, their wives, their loved ones, their children, because they're little, but as they get older, y'all got to have these conversations. You can't just benefit from the money they do bring because it's going to be short term. If you want it to be long term, then you're going to have to help them take care of themselves. Cognitive tests are available. So next time, the next one, because it's going to happen again. Instead of just saying he lost his battle with depression, ask, did he lose his battle with CTE? Ask, did Rondell Moore lose a battle with CTE? Was he tested for cognitive decline? Depression is one of the major signs. All right, so that's that. So I'm glad I actually shared that because that clarifies the information is available. It's documented. Ignorance is no excuse. That's like if you date somebody or you have kids and they ski. You're gonna learn everything about skiing and how they protect themselves. Because you know the injury is possible. How you don't do the same thing with the NFL, with NFL players? It's that flag football. It said Ward is going to be a new, what's this? It said word. Oh, it is going to be a new addition to the Olympic Games. Yep. Yep, Barbara. That's facts. And you're gonna see it more. Yep, flag is a new Olympic sport, right? So now that every NFL team can have flag football. I mean, we'll have men's and women's football, and it's an Olympic sport. I don't know. I said 50, I said what 7 years, people gonna look at a black person and be like, what you still doing? Like you really still in the NFL. So these are the times that they need to be having the conversations that coming out of college, like we saw the quarterbacks do. Well, now it's not just the quarterbacks. Look at what Baltimore did with Mark Andrews, who failed and who was failing before, which is why they brought in Isaiah Likely, but they don't have no money for Isaiah Likely. So now it's moving beyond devaluing the quarterbacks. Who else am I devaluing? 9 quarterbacks that are black. Pay attention for that little play to make it to another team. Because first we saw Jerry Jeudy, who started running on his route. Then I saw it in New York. Then we saw it with Caleb in the playoffs. See how they test shit out and then they move it around? That's what I'm talking about. And I want Coach Prime to teach these players or to get them involved in some kind of class or bring a neurologist in. That's a good idea. What y'all think about that? Bring a neurologist in that talks about the importance about cognitive tests and what they can find out before you die. And I don't like the association with black people in their hearts because that's how you push it off on them. And then you use it to replace them. Or use it, to weaponize racism. Thanks. Please hit the like button. All right, y'all. So this was actually good. Okay, so this one actually ended up being way more informative since we added that last piece about, what's actually happening with CTE and what you can do while the players are alive. Now it's up to the people that love them and the players themselves to start protecting themselves and admit who you work for and admit that in the here and now, devaluing black players is what they're doing. Isaiah Likely is not a quarterback. Let's see what he ends up with. And let's see when they move the Isaiah Likely plot to another team to devalue a black player and give somebody who's white everything, even though they failed and left nothing for the black player to get. That's the way to value Isaiah Likely. Push him out there and let's see what somebody else gonna give him. Well, they all talked about it beforehand, so he ain't gonna get his worth. See what happens. All right, so I'm gonna get out of here. This was excellent. I hope Shedeur, when he put up the smiley face, I don't know what it was about, or the sad face. I think it was a sad face, right? Am I right about that? Was that a sad face? I think that was a sad face. Yeah. If I don't know what he was talking about, but if he was referencing the young man's passing, then let's hope he know to keep his head above water and he know how to protect himself, and he sees a neurologist as well because he's been sacked excessively already. He don't need to be sacked 55 more times. That ain't gonna work. He had his in college, so that's not right, and they do that for a reason. Shout out for the super chat. Thank you so much. Who is that? Let's see. I want to say thank you. Oh, that's Shy. It said Tua spoke of nutrition. It said we are more likely eating more fried foods, which elevate the blood pressure and cause minor strokes to the brain. But the problem with that, Shy, is we, maybe non-football players, these football players spend a lot of, thank you for the super chat. These football players spend a lot of money on chefs to eat healthy. Because doesn't Shedeur have a chef? Most of them, many of them, especially these high profile players, they have chefs. They spend top dollar on nutrition. I think they said CeeDee Lamb spends $1 million every year on health and recovery. these players, they don't eat like we eat, right? I admit we probably eat like that, but they don't eat like that. Not overwhelmingly. I think Chad Ochocinco is the only player I know of that said he eats McDonald's religiously, and he actually owns 2 McDonald's. So I mean, I see your point, but a lot of these guys, they spend the money. The ones that have it, they spend the money on themselves. They try to really eat healthy. But it's no excuse not to know. You need to know. If Tua knows about the nutritional part, I think that's what Tua said. The doctor taught him about, the brain and how it sits in liquid. And when you're dehydrated, there's less of that. Therefore, you could end up with more severe brain injuries. So he taught him how to protect his brain. He taught him how to protect himself. And the rest of them need to do the same thing. That's what I'm saying. And as you can see, who they blaming for it, right? And we know these guys spend big bucks on themselves and eat healthy and things like that. A lot of athletes, they've been working on their diets for shit since college, right? Since college. And when they get to the pros and they get the money, that's generally when they hire a chef. So, yeah, hopefully, I think they need to be honest about the dangers and that there are solutions to help you protect yourself. Nothing's 100% foolproof, but we have to admit that CTE is the danger first. That's step one. That there's something you can do about it while you're alive. That's step 2. So that's that. All right. So thank you for the super chat, Shy. We appreciate having you today too. Great insight. So y'all, we're gonna get out of here. This was good. This was good. This was good. Ending on a good note. That's excellent because there was that story in the middle there. But yeah, we'll be back. We'll be back tomorrow. Who knows what we're gonna talk about? That's why I didn't have a topic in the caption. I just said the latest buzz. And you know what's funny? I didn't even have this topic on tonight's show. I had to add it. I had other things, that I already talked about. So that's why I don't like to put the title. So y'all know we go live at 10:35 at night. If I'm not gonna go live, I'll tell you. But we will likely be here with the latest buzz. All right, y'all. Have a good night. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Hit the like button, subscribe, and get us to 7,000. Have a good night.